What's going on YouTube? It's Pelfrey and this is the Red Sea Reefer 250. I know I've mentioned it a ton, but I got some new stuff in. It's been a long time since I've ordered stuff until recently. Of course, I got the new corals, the Harlequin shrimp that didn't make it, the yellow chorus wrasse, which is in here somewhere. This coral that was encrusting over here looks like it's in pretty bad shape. And honestly, I'm still going to blame that on my salinity issues. So yeah, this year has been one of the years where I've spent next to no money on the tank whatsoever. And it's felt kind of good. And you know, I've said it in the last video and probably the video before that and so forth, but I'm really running out of room anyway. So yeah, I mean, the only thing I can add now is, you know, maybe another Harlequin shrimp, maybe a couple of cleaner shrimp, and maybe a couple more fish. And then at that point, it's really just, let's watch the tank grow. But let's head over to the table and I'll show you what I got. Oh, real quick, the yellow chorus wrasse decided to come out and play. So yeah, let's go check out some of the equipment or non-living items that I got for the tank. I didn't pick up too much. I really got what I needed. And then a couple things that I wanted. First off, this is what I needed. The new Tunze pump. It's a 5000.020 is the part number. The metering pump for the ATO. And, you know, I mentioned this before, but the pump that I'm running now is well over 5 years old. So, you know, it's been a great pump. And for me to have, been able to get 5 years out of it has really been great. These things aren't expensive. I think they're like 20 bucks. They're not bad, but you know, I probably should have had one on hand anyway, but I didn't. I like the Brightwell Aquatics coral aminos, so I picked up some more because I'm about out of that. 1,000 milliliters of AcroPower. I've not really consistently dosed AcroPower, but at one point I did have it on a doser. And I'd say that was probably a 6-month run where I'd say that was the most consistent I've ever been. But I do plan to set this up to dose maybe like 5 milliliters a day or 3 or something like that. So I got the big jug. The only thing that I didn't get was the bulkhead to snap the dosing tubing into. And I may have one of those already in some of my junk that I have. As you can see, I also picked up the Kamoer X1. Now, this was more of a toss-up for me because they do have the Wi-Fi version, but I've been running one of these for over a year now, probably close to a year and a half, and it doses Kalk water for me. I've never, I've never replaced the pump head, but I do have a backup pump head. So I really wanted to try the Wi-Fi model out, but really, there's only 2 things that the Wi-Fi does that this doesn't do. Well, 3 things. Obviously, this is Bluetooth, so it has to be set up over Bluetooth connection, so you have to be here to adjust it, which the Kalk water I've never adjusted. Set it and forget it. So me being away from the house and being able to change a dosage means nothing to me. 2, the Wi-Fi version does, I believe, allow you to do 24 doses. It's more than this pump. And what was the third thing about the Wi-Fi version? It comes in a black finish. And the good thing about this pump is, the Wi-Fi version, I remembered, the Wi-Fi version will keep the schedule. So apparently these are prone that if they lose power, then the schedule will disappear off the dosing pump. You have to go reprogram that, but I've not personally ran into that myself, so not a big deal for me. But the good thing about this is, since I have one already and I am supplying power to it with this jumper cable, albeit it's a short jumper cable, but with this jumper cable I can supply power to this pump as well, so I don't have to take up another outlet. It does come with the calibration. I forget what this thing's called, but this is used for calibrating the pump. Comes with these barbs that will go into the pump head. What I did on my other pump is I actually super glued some of this tubing to the barb head here so that because the tubing that you get here, I don't know if I can show you with one hand, the tubing that the pump comes with compared to like what a conventional dosing line is. So the tubing on the left is the Kamoer tubing. The tubing on the right is what I would call more of a conventional dosing tube. So I got some of that and I'm gonna super glue it to the barbs. Get AcroPower dosing 3 to 5 milliliters a day. So that means that this will last me a very long time. This does not need to be refrigerated, doesn't need to be shaken, none of that fun stuff. So let me get to work on some of this and then hopefully we can see a finished product. I'll try to briefly explain what I've got going on here. So I did get the Tunze pump swapped out and I did add it to this bracket here. So hopefully the pump stays on its feet. That way it is actually drawing water from the bottom. A lot of times what will happen with these pumps is they'll lay on their side, and then frankly, when it gets down close to like the gallon mark, it gets pretty sketchy as far as the pump being able to pull air. So as long as the pump stays on its feet, which it is kind of tilted now, there's a less chance that it's gonna run dry and it's gonna take out more water of the ATO. So good there, old pump is there. I had to take, so this is the Kamoer that runs my Kalk washer, and I have it on a 3D printed bracket, and I need to print another one for this pump. But you can see here how I have them situated. This is Kalk washer, this will be AcroPower. We have this jumper here, so it has power in, and then on the other pump we have power out. So, what I've got going on now is just regular tap water. I'm gonna get the pump set up in the app, name it, get some water running through it, calibrate it, and I'm just gonna leave them sitting there for the time being. I've left access dosing tubing here because I don't wanna cut it too short, because obviously whenever I'm actually mount the pump, I'm gonna need more tubing. So it's not gonna be pretty, but that's not really what I'm going for. Going for functionality. Wore out. It's the most work I've done on and with the tank for quite a while. Everything is gone smooth, successful in my opinion. Didn't go over setting up the pump because it's simple and easy. Don't even need the directions. The app just seems to work flawlessly for me anyway. But again, that's for Kalk washer. That is for AcroPower, and I set them on this box because what I was running into was the hoses here were starting to kink when I laid it on top of the ATO. So set them on top of the box so that the hoses coming out of the pump heads are straight, because I definitely do not want them to kink, because it's going to mess up the dosage for sure. And then I just don't want them to kink. I'm sure if they were left kinked for a long time, they would end up going bad. And I actually found an 800 milliliter Voss water bottle that I used many years ago that had the bulkhead in there. It's clear, so it'll allow me to see the solution. Now, the RODI line, or hard tubing, whatever, that goes down into the Voss water bottle doesn't touch the ground, but it's pretty close. The big bottle now, it's pretty empty. I'd say, because it's 1,000 milliliters, so it's probably down to there, but it's a little bit, as far as a form factor, it's not, cylinder wise, it's not as big as this bottle here, so it saves me some space. I did go ahead and fill up my second Kalk washer container, so I do always have one on backup, but because of the mess that's going on in here now, I wanted to go ahead and get that in there, and hopefully I can get both pumps mounted up there sooner rather than later. Let's see. So yeah, it worked out great. And again, it's a Voss water bottle. I just took a razor blade and scraped the stuff off there. Reef Dudes is the one that, that's where I learned the Voss water bottle trick, from Reef Dudes. And then Eat Sleep Reef has done the same thing. Many other people have done the same thing. So yeah, that's the first time that we've really done like an equipment-based discussion on the Red Sea Reefer. The ATO hasn't kicked on yet. Water level is a little high, but very anxious to see if that is the issue. I believe it is, because that pump was just whining. But anyway, appreciate you following along. Be sure to check out the website at pelfrey.net. Follow me on Instagram because these videos are like a month behind where Instagram is at Pelfrey's Reef. And I'll catch you on the next one.